Abysmal by Persaud. No picking still. My husband nagged, his hands still over my eyes as he guided me. How can I pick with your hands literally over my face? I remarked. He chuckled. After what felt like forever with him making sure I didn't bump into anything up to the mystery destination, my husband Jackson assured me that we were finally there. Thank God. All right, open up, he said as he unveiled his hands from my face. Now that we're here, I felt a rush of excitement again, and the shy, jet exuberant grin grew over my face as I slowly opened my eyes. Once they opened, however, they widened tenfold at the sight before me. Whoa, I exclaimed. Jackson chuckled. So, did I pick out a good birthday gift or what? He teased. It was truly a sight to behold. An underwater luxury hotel suite with all the delicacies and comfort a guest could dream of, encased entirely in an underwater tank with a view to die for at nearly every angle. Undoubtedly, it was a great birthday gift. Baby, this is amazing, I spoke. I turned to look at him. I was just kinda joking when I said bring me to the ocean if you could, you know. He and the usher who led us to the room with our luggage exchanged laughs. You should know by now I take almost everything you say literally, Jackson said as he stepped my way, towering over me by merely 2 inches. I uttered through my smile, and we both leaned in for a kiss. The usher rolled our luggage over the king-size bed. Really, it looked even bigger than king-sized, and nearly set them to the side. Happy birthday, Jackson said. Thanks, babe, I replied, as we both went in for another kiss. Poor usher, I thought. I know it must have been awkward for him right about now. Sorry to intrude, the gentleman noted, but if you two would like, the kitchen staff has prepared a lovely 4-course lunch, which should be about ready in the next 30 to 40 minutes. Oh, I uttered. Nice, Jackson followed. What do you think? He asked me. I'm famished. I gave him a crazy look. Shit, yeah, I replied under my breath, but quite loudly. I noticed the usher. Clearing my throat. Yes, my husband and I would love to attend, changing my whole demeanor. Him and I chuckled like idiot children. That's simply how we were together, like children. Though, when it was time to be adults, I was usually the parent in the relationship. He was a messy eater. I used proper dining etiquette. He needed a haircut. I did it for him. He got bruised up or injured doing God knows what. I fixed him up. He wanted to travel to a random city over the weekend. I did all the planning. Except this time, to my surprise. Jackson was smart, very smart, but dumb at the same time. He was like a golden retriever, had lots of energy and charisma, always the center of everyone else's attention. Yet, he couldn't hold his own to save his life. Extremely all over the place. In a way, however, that was what I found attractive about him. His zest for life and childlike curiosity outlasting his years. I liked to have my fun as well, don't get me wrong, but I was more Virgo-like in my ways, even though I am a Pisces myself. Lunch was held in the hotel center aquarium, giving us a full view of the ocean around us. Glass surrounded us with a bright blue luminescence as the sun reflected light through the large sea. We were presented with a lovely 4-course meal of seafood selections. Both of us got the seafood chowder as a starter. I got spicy Caribbean shrimp, and he got oysters for appetizers. For the entrees, I got a nice, big, baked salmon, and Jackson got a huge lobster tail with a side of melted butter and mashed potatoes. It was all delicious, needless to say. And, to top it all off, we had carved-backed tall slices of strawberry cheesecake. I could barely get up from the table after we were done. After congratulating the head chef on a fine meal, Jackson shot the question. "Where are all the fish?" he asked. It was one of those things I didn't even think to ask, yet it was obvious. Where were the fish? I didn't know we were coming here until just a while ago. Had I not seen any pictures from the brochures in our room, I think this place didn't have any fish at all. It was a good question. The fish, the chef said. They are usually out most of the day, and usually at night they'll obviously be harder to see and go elsewhere. But today must be one of those days where they'll just sort of hide. Hide? I remarked. Yes, the chef said. Mostly from predators, if they are around. But that's strange. There usually aren't any around. There's the sharks, but even still, nothing that's a serious threat to make the others live. There's sharks here? Jackson asked, in a tone that I couldn't tell was either amazed or afraid. Oh yes, a couple of them will show up from time to time. No great whites or hammerheads or anything crazy of the sort, but yes, there are a few. Jackson uttered. Well, hopefully they turn up soon, I added. We gotta get some pictures, right, babe? I nudged Jackson at his side, to which he didn't noticeably return much of a reaction. He noised passively. Maybe he was starting to get a food coma too, and needed to lay down. I know I did. We got back to the room and did exactly that. After a pleasant nap, I woke up to the magical view of the suite being illuminated with hidden LED lights outlining the bed, walls, and other pieces of large furniture. The room held a bright gold luminescence along with the now dark blue to almost pitch black abyss of the ocean. I wondered if it was something that could be turned off or it just stayed like that. Either way, I wasn't complaining one bit. Jackson woke up not too long after, and I barely saw him shuffle over the bathroom in a hurry as I was on my phone with my back turned. Was he sick? You alright, babe? I called him. Yeah, Jackson replied. Had to piss. Oh, well, that made sense. With that, I turned on camera mode for my phone and began snapping random pictures, getting ready to do a panorama view. I had the lens set at one side of the room, starting at the edge of the first wide window, then began to drag across the room. I made it past the first window, then past the walls and door to the bathroom occupied by Jackson, then to the other side window, and was about to come around to the end of the last huge display behind me when I noticed something through the lens. I lowered my phone to get a look with my own eyes and saw that there was an enormous shadow of space outside the glass. It could have been the lack of sunlight reflecting down on that particular spot, but then I thought, was it really that dark already? It was only 6:30, so it made sense for the water to be dark, but not that dark. The thing was, it stood out from the rest of the area like a sore thumb. You could still tell the ocean floor from the other sections of the room, as well as the tiny rocks at the bottom. But over this particular spot, it was near total blackness. An abnormally large, disquieting contrast in the area around it. Maybe it was just a large rock structure, like a fjord maybe? No, those are like mountains or something, I think. Then I heard the toilet flush. I waited for Jackson to come back out, but a couple of moments kept passing longer than expected. I was getting suspicious again. "You sure you're okay?" I called again. "Yeah," he answered. It would make sense if he got sick from the food, perhaps. It was seafood after all, and that, among other recipes, could have a tendency to make anyone's stomach queasy if not properly prepared. But I didn't have any issues so far. We ate nearly the same thing, as we picked from each other's plates all the time. I went ahead and gave him another minute, but as more time kept passing and I didn't hear from him, I decided that was it. "Hey, I got a piece too," I announced as I got up and started approaching to the door. No response. Then, a few seconds later, "Okay," I heard him respond. Weird, I thought. I slowly turned the knob and opened the door slowly, as Nat budged right in. To my confusion, he wasn't in the bathroom anymore at all. "Huh? Jackson?" I called for him. I looked across and saw that there was another door leading to a different room, or a closet maybe. It was cracked open. I went over and swung open the door to find a nice, tidy, compartmentalized space. The only room that wasn't encased in glass, with Jackson loafing around. It had a nice view seat cushion that extended along the side of the walls of the entire room, and a circular window that simply showed the outside view of the ocean, which was also nearly pitch black as a shadow that cast over near the bedside window a moment ago. Perhaps I was right. It was just large boulders or rocky structures blocking the light on those specific sides of the glass. "You know, this wouldn't be a bad room to crash in," he said, as he kept aimlessly searching around for something. "I guess not," I awkwardly replied. "Could be a good place to do other things, too. Yeah, it's kind of a tight space, don't you think? We've managed with worse. You know, there is a whole bed back there," I said, pointing my finger to the door. "Yeah?" Then his mind trailed off elsewhere before he looked at me again. "I'm done in the bathroom. You said you needed to go, right?" I gave him a certain look. I lied. I answered, "You okay?" "Why wouldn't I be?" he responded. But I knew he was playing clueless. "You've been acting kinda strange since lunch." "Oh, I mean, we both know you're strange as it is, but Earlier you seemed sort of alright, but now, since the sun is starting to come down, I don't even know. True, he said, still not actually paying attention as he was still searching around the room. I was getting a little fed up. What are you looking for? I asked. Something to cover this window with, he said. Can we get a seasick from this? You know, with us being underwater and everything. Maybe. There's nothing but towels and a bunch of useless crap in here. Are there any real big pillows out there in the bathroom? My gosh, he was acting strange. The obvious question came next. Why do you need to cover the window? I asked. Because I don't want anyone spying on us, he answered. Really? Yeah. We are underwater. I noticed. Who's gonna spy on us? The fish? There aren't any. You don't know. There might be people with submarines or something down here, trying to capture a couple of lovebird guests having a good old time down here to sell on the internet, or who knows what. Okay. 1, I'm not screwing you in this room. And 2, what is going on with you? You're acting so weird. What's wrong? He looked around nervously, biting his lip like a child keeping a dirty little secret. Then he finally fessed up. I have thalassophobia, he guiltily admitted. What? Thalassophobia. What's that? Fear of the ocean, like deep water. All the shit that lurks in it, you know? Being stranded at sea, even. I've always been afraid of the water, babe. I tried to work on it, believe me, but nah. It's just always been that one thing I can't get over. I was dumbfounded. Ooh, I stuttered, trying to find where to even begin. You have a fear of the ocean and you booked us an underwater hotel with a 360 view of open water. His face was red. Yeah, he muttered. Why? I asked. 'Cause it was for you. It wasn't about me. I wanted you to be happy, and I wanted to get you something nice for your birthday. Something I knew you'd love. It was one of the sweetest things I'd ever heard him say. So much that I almost forgot how dumb he sounded at this moment. I went over to him and gently cupped his face with both my hands, my back facing the window now and his facing the door. Okay, I started. Baby, you didn't have to get me anything, though I'm very grateful for all of this. And besides, I still don't want you to be uncomfortable even if I'm not. We're, you know, a marriage, a unity, or whatever, a team. I wouldn't do something for you if I didn't like it either. Jackson arched a brow. Okay, that came out very wrong. Of course. I'd made sacrifices for you too. Then I realized he wasn't reacting to what I said at all, and was looking across the room past me towards the glass. The rock is gone, he whispered. I uttered. I turned to face where he was looking and saw what he meant. The black abyss of space beyond the glass was no longer there, and instead we saw the faint blue glistening of the evening once again. Strange. It'd been black as night a moment ago, but Jackson said the same thing I was thinking. He, too, thought it was a rock. I looked to him. Tell you what, I'll order some drinks, you pick, and I'll bring them back. And we can just hang out here, okay? His face lit up with excitement again. You don't have to do that, babe. Don't let me ruin your birthday. To me, it's ruined if you're not happy. I'd gotten room service to order us a tray of varied alcoholic beverages, only under his card, Jackson insisted. Champagne, Moscato, Grey Goose, and a few other cocktails along with some crackers and cheese to go along. We were soon to get wasted. We hung out together in the small enclosed room with our backs facing the window atop a fortress of pillows I'd pulled from the master bedroom. I even fulfilled his request to cover the window with other stacks of pillows and whatever else I could find so he wouldn't have to look outside. We cuddled in the pillow fort we'd made and watched a movie on his tablet. Any other person might view this as a complete downer to their vacation, but for me, I actually enjoyed every second of it. We never usually partook in high-end sort of living activities, even with me thoroughly planning and making sure we budget down to a T. So they usually ended up like this. We much prefer the comfort of doing things the unconventional way, such as sleeping in another room aside from the bed on a stack of pillows. Plus, it made Jackson feel better, and he was usually always braver than me. For once, I saw a true vulnerability in him. We've been to the pool and stuff together, I said. He replied. He drank way more than me. He'd answer anything at this point. You didn't seem scared then. The pool isn't scary. The ocean is. Remember though, I couldn't go past the 6 feet. Then I thought about it. He was right. He never went too far to the deep end of any pools we got in, nor did he bother to step as much as a single toe into the ocean when we visited the beach. I never noticed until now. We kept watching the movie for a couple more seconds before I had the urge to ask more questions. What about it scares you the most? I asked. He shrugged. I mean, a lot of things. Like the thought of how deep it is. You never know what could be down there. Here, the feeling of being surrounded by a vast bunch of endless and being so small. He shivered with chills. Yes, fuck that. Yeah, when you put it that way, that does sound pretty scary. Nah, you love it. You and the ocean have a pact. What? I smiled. Admit it. You would love to be a little mermaid just swimming along in the abyss, waving at the seamen. Seamen. Passing by on their little boats and just having a grand time. Oh, shut up. I laughed. Just floating around with your long red hair, collecting seashells, singing. Under the sea. Whatever. Under the sea. He was hysterical, and we were both having a good time. At least he was enjoying himself now. Much thanks to the alcohol, of course. I had to get up and use the bathroom for real this time. After doing so, I decided to go and get my phone I'd left on the charger from the bed. But when I stepped in the room, it was nearly pitch black.